Many people know Rachel Carson as the author of Silent Spring, a book that exposed the harms of pesticides to the environment. But that is not the only way in which she helped people, animals, and nature. In this episode of Celebrating Science, learn more about her work and how we can follow in her footsteps. Rachel Carson was an environmental scientist who worked as a marine biologist before shifting her focus to nature writing. In 1962, she published Silent Spring, in which she shares her research on the negative impacts of pesticides in a way that is accessible for a general audience. The book's title refers to how pesticides had led to a decline in songbird populations and their spring singing. However, Carson also focused on pesticides' negative impacts on other animals, nature, and even people. Her research and writing were so powerful that, despite the opposition of pesticide companies, the book led to changes in pesticide policies and bans on certain pesticides. It also contributed to Carson's status as a founder of the modern environmental movement. Carson wrote other powerful books as well. For example, in her trilogy Under the Sea Wind, The Sea Around Us, and The Edge of the Sea, she shares her passion for ocean life in a way that is also accessible for a general audience. In Under the Sea Wind, she describes aquatic ecology from the perspectives of three animals who interact with the sea: a sanderling, a bird species, a mackerel, a fish species, and an eel, another fish species. By sharing these animals' stories, Carson helps people empathize with them and inspires people to take actions that will help them. Yet another one of Carson's powerful books is The Sense of Wonder, in which she shares how adults can introduce young people to the magic of the natural world in a way that is, again, accessible for a general audience. Recounting her own experiences in nature with her nephew, she reflects that, quote, "If a child is to keep their inborn sense of wonder, they need the companionship of at least one adult who can share it, rediscovering with them the joy, excitement, and mystery of the world we live in." End quote. While we may never equal Rachel Carson in her research or writing skills, each of her books reveals a way in which we can follow in her footsteps as humane educators. For example, The Sense of Wonder reveals that by sharing our passion for the natural world with people, especially young people, we can inspire them to have reverence for other beings. The Sea Trilogy reveals that by sharing the perspectives of animals with people, we can teach them to empathize with these other beings. And finally, Silent Spring reveals that by sharing our knowledge of environmental issues with people, we can all work together to solve them and transform our world for the better for all beings.